at the December 10th City Council meeting as the protest meeting. And I'll have Luke advance that for me. Thank you. The increase in the assessment from 2 to 2.5% is what the APBID Advisory Board has identified as what would make the difference to increase lodging stays by focusing on the infrastructure at our local zoo and adjacent areas of our lake park to invest in the area to drive events for tourism and lodging stays in the city. The increase in the assessment for the lodging owner will begin January 9th of 2025. Following the City Council meeting on October 8th, the resolution was adopted and on October 9th, the letter was mailed and an email was sent to the lodging owners notifying them of the increase along with public notice requirements. The assessment increase will be at the direction of the APBID Advisory Board, and it will be tracked by the destination manager in addition to the projects and opportunities that will be brought forth to the APBID Advisory Board so they can look at the different things that we have available from city staff. In summary, we are acting on behalf of the APBID Advisory Board to present the 0.5% increase and move forward with and put in place the increase in the assessment to help fund these physical improvements. So tonight we are asking council to conduct the first meeting of the draft APBID assessment to increase the ordinance, and then changing the assessment rate from 2 to 2.5% for the remainder of fiscal year 24 to 25, and settling on a public hearing for the second reading of the ordinance on December 10th of 2024. Should there be insufficient protests from the lodging owners to be assessed, and should the ordinance go into effect, additional APBID revenues is estimated to be $46,500 through June 30th of 2025. And the last slide there, I'll have Luke advance one more. That's the recommendation I had just read, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Director. A couple of things I want to note just for the public as we're talking about an assessment increase. This is an increase that the lodging owners came together and asked us as a council to adopt to increase the tax on lodging stays. So this isn't anything that residents or businesses are paying unless you happen to be staying at a hotel, and that is that extra 0.5%, and it needs to be used for activities and marketing and things that increase heads and beds essentially. And so improving the Lake Park Zoo area, they believe would help do that, but it requires an act of the council to do that. So I just like to be clear that we're not simply raising taxes on the residents, and this is something that TBIT Advisory Board has asked us to do. I will ask Director Banish, my understanding as we discussed is this money isn't going into a separate account and tagged specifically like a special revenue assessment. So can you just give a brief explanation on how that will be managed in terms of using it for that zoo and Lake Park area?
Absolutely. Thank you, Mayor and Council. So the assessment of 0.5% won't be tracked separately, but we will be keeping tabs on that. It's to the advisory board will be managing that, but we'll be making sure that they manage that 0.5% increase that goes towards the lake park and the zoo.
So we have your eye on it.
Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions of staff looking at that on my left and then on my right? One on my right. Yes. Mayor Pro Tem.
It just since this will be easy to refer to this as a tax, but this is not something this is not a fee, this is not a tax. It's not something that the council is imposing on the hotel owners, is that the lodging owners have chosen to invest in things that improve their financial performance, improve the market for their services, but with this voluntary assessment that they do. But once they have agreed on it, then it becomes binding on all lodging owners to make that contribution. Is that correct?
That is correct. It's an assessment that they assess on themselves for their marketing efforts to market the city for tourism and driving lodging stays.
Right. Okay. And the council makes that mechanism possible and handles the flow of money, right? And therefore, it's not. That's why we're here, but it's not. That's why we don't have to take it to voters for voter approval, because it's not something that's a tax.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, I think we have wrapped up questions, so let's open up to public comment. Any members of the public wishing to speak on this item? Welcome.
Jeff Hoslin once again. So this is part of the TOT tax, and this would also apply to like Airbnb and such, correct? Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the public wishing to speak? Seeing none, we'll close public comment and bring it back. Yes, correct. So the base TOT, which stands for transient occupancy tax, that is charged to people staying at hotels is 10%. The TBID has, when we formed that back in, I think it was 2013, added the 2%, and that's what the hoteliers use to market Atascadero to get those heads and beds, and the 0.5% will be added to that. And I think we are looking now for a motion.
I will move that we adopt the draft ordinance, increasing the TBID assessment from 2 to 2.5%.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Borbeau, a second by Mayor Pro Tem Funk. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Borbo,
Yes.
Councilmember Daris,
Yes.
Councilmember Newsom,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Funk,
Yes.
Mayor Moreno.
Yes, ma'am.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. And because this will be my last time doing this, I'm gonna meeting adjourned.